what's wrong, Aldo, with taking something traditional and adding your own twist?
Well, at home you can do whatever you wish.
Ah, OK.
Thank you.
Spaghetti bolognese does not exist in Italy.
No.
OK? It's not a national dish. In this country, we've been eating it for 40 years. I've been eating it for 42 years. And it's been eaten by English at home, you know, in my house even. My wife makes it still. But when it comes to real Italian food from a certain region, Italian food doesn't really exist. It's all about regional food.
Yeah.
I'm involved in a restaurant chain that is called San Carlo, and we employ just Italian chefs, for example.
So people get a real taste of Italian cooking or regional Italian cooking. Is that your argument?
Yes, because you grow up in Italy, you grow up with your parents, you grow up with those flavours, you're going to taste. And, you know, I don't feel that anyone else, you know, outside Italy are going to understand that food.
But what about Gordon Ramsay? Do you think it's reasonable to attack him for producing food which is not absolutely authentic in terms of the land of its origin, but which, as Kate says, has a twist to it? Because, you see, I can't see what's wrong with that at all. I mean, we're in Britain. If you go to Spain, for example, and they advertise in a restaurant, we do English Sunday roast here, it's actually not going to be quite like it would be.
Not like your missus, not like Judy's
Not like, or
Sunday
mine,
roast,
excuse me, like mine.
Oh, OK, fair enough.
I'm just defending my side of the
Yeah, but
the
is
argument.
it cultural
I mean, Neil, what
with
about that
Italy,
then?
you know,
well, what
but-
about, as a cook, that you're you know, you could be cheating us as people going to a restaurant thinking we're getting
I think
the original
if you're a
thing.
diner and you want to have authentic Chinese food, if you want to have authentic Italian food, I would go to Italy and I would go to China and I
We
would
can't
travel
all
to do
afford
it.
to do that. We might just want to pop to a restaurant.
Well, yeah, I mean, but as a chef growing up in a multicultural city like London and eating probably more Italian food, more Chinese food, more Asian food than British food and be more influenced by that, it's disingenuous for me to go into a cooking career and not be interested in that.
So what would you say to people who criticise Gordon Ramsay and say that he's basically getting it wrong? It is, quote, cultural appropriation?
I don't think he said it's authentic Chinese food or
It's
Asian
his
food or
version of
anything.
it.
I don't know if he said that. If he has, he's probably wrong. But if he's just trying to do something which he's interested in and inspired by, I think you should have a freedom to do it. I don't see there's a big problem in this country of, you know, Chinese restaurants or Thai restaurants or anything owned by people that aren't Asian.
And why,
you know?
why should foreign recipes, including Italian food, why should they be set in concrete? Surely the whole point about food and about food culture is that it mutates and it moves on and it changes. And I bet you that a traditional Italian meal that you might cook based on a recipe of, say, 200, 300 years ago is not the same today as it was a couple of centuries ago. It's moved on.
It's been moved on and it's been brought to life now with young chefs.
Yeah.
So, but the carbonara never has cream. A bolognese, spaghetti bolognese doesn't exist. Those kind of things can't change.
I think there's more interest now.
But if I opened an Italian restaurant and I got an English chef to cook carbonara and bolognese in a way that you wouldn't get it in Italy, would I be culturally appropriating Italian cuisine, or would I just be serving up what people in this country like to eat?
Well, if you want to serve what people in this country like to eat, then it's up to you. But if you open an Italian restaurant, it's got to be an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, but an Italian restaurant in New York is a different to an Italian restaurant in Rome. It's different to an Italian restaurant in Naples.
Exactly.
The idea of pizza across the world.
Italian restaurant doesn't exist. It's all about regional food in Italy.
Food's like language. It travels. As it travels, it changes, and because it has to communicate with different people in different languages. You know, Chinese food's not the same in Shanghai as it is in London, but it's still operated by Chinese people who have come over here, and still Chinese people are profiting from it here and making it here. I don't see anything wrong with that, and whether or not I like that or I like something in Shanghai...
If you go to Chinatown, no restaurants have an Italian chef. It's got Chinese chefs.
It's got Chinese chefs.
If you go to Brick Lane, Indian chefs everywhere.
But everyone's got a choice. No one's forcing people to go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. No one's forcing them to go. They can go and they can make...
I'm not having to go to Gordon Ramsay's
To be
restaurant.
fair, it's not even open yet.
It's not even open yet.
I think Gordon Ramsay... I think Gordon Ramsay is brilliant what he does and what he's going to do with his restaurant is probably going to be a very successful restaurant.
I think
because he knows what he's doing.
I think a chef can learn a dish.
Is it a question
a chef can learn a dish, and a chef can learn how to cook pasta without having to live in Italy. A chef can learn how to cook a Chinese dish without... You can learn to cook a dish in 3 minutes on bloody YouTube, you know, or almost anything. But to understand a culture takes you, years and years, and you have to immerse yourself in that culture and understand it.
This is where I'm coming from.
But to cook one dish doesn't take that. And I think, it's not mystified. And if you're a really good chef like Gordon Ramsay...
Oliver, he called his
did
rice
he call it, or
rice.
did the company did the company that made it called it?
Do you think
I'm not sure that was
that's
Jamie.
That's what people are upset about, aren't they? That perhaps there's a lack of respect for...
There is. You need to have respect for culture. You need to have respect for the food.
But is there
you're cooking.
such a thing?
I think that...
Is there such a thing as cultural appropriation when it comes to cooking food that has its origins abroad? Because I don't think
I think cultural appropriation is inevitable. If you live in a multicultural society, it's inevitable that you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's disingenuous to say that I'm just going to cook British food.
You can eat the world
life.
in London in one day.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many different restaurants and so many different cultures and so many different chefs cooking different foods.
Yeah.
But Italian food has to be Italian food.
And just in case anybody's been offended by Neil's, not his food, but his language, I do apologise. You can't swear at this.
I didn't even
Neil.
notice.
You can't swear. And we're talking about Gordon Ramsay, and you're the one that swore, for heaven's sake. Goodness me.
It's usually
goodness
me, so don't worry. Yeah, you've taken the heat off me.